Today is an important day. For 100 years we have operated as a democracy, and it's important today that we follow the constitutional order in electing a Taoiseach and a new cabinet and government. It's a new cabinet. The metaphor I was using, it's like half-time, and the captain's armband will be passed from one to the other, but it will be a similar team. And one thing I know and absolutely certain for sure, that Taoiseach Micheál Martin will be running out on Monday morning with the rest of us, determined to do everything we can to serve the Irish people. I spoke in the convention centre 2.5 years ago about the qualities he had that I believed would make him a good Taoiseach, and I believed any assessment, historic or even current, will prove that foresight to be correct, or that expectation to be correct. We have work to do. We retain and double down on the programme for government that we wrote 2.5 years ago in a time of real crisis. One person, before I continue though, I want to remember, as the Taoiseach said, who will not be continuing that team, but has, I think, done an incredible job, was the outgoing Attorney-General, Paul Gallagher. We were joking at Cabinet on Tuesday, was it? The Minister for Foreign Affairs was saying, God, every time we get to Security Council, the world's in crisis. The Cuban Missile Crisis, 9/11, the war in Ukraine now in the last 2 years. And I was joking, saying that, well, God, every time Paul Gallagher takes the Attorney-General's office, he has to deal with crisis, the financial crisis. He served this state in a way that I believe was hugely significant for the benefit of our people. And again, in the last 2 years, what he's done to protect the constitutional rights, but also to drive what we call the system, to push for speed and flexibility in everything we do, I think has been a huge record of achievement that he leaves behind. And I want to thank him on behalf of our party and personally for the incredible work that he has done. But we have work to do. If I was to simplify one of the key characteristics of what's in our programme of government to what we need to do now, is we need a bigger state. We need more of our republic working collectively in this democratic constitutional way, because we are beset by issues that require real effort, real commitment, real conviction and coordination of our efforts. And we all know that first and foremost, that's housing our people and those who come to our shores seeking refuge or opportunity. And that won't be easy, but I'm absolutely certain that we will do everything we can to provide that housing. We have set up the mechanisms to allow the state step in where the market is not going to be able to succeed. And while it's challenging, beset by all sorts of difficulties, we will deliver. And secondly, in health, the three key targets for this government. The reform of our health service starts with the understanding that the state is all of us. The state is every porter, every nurse, every consultant, every clerk, every single person. The job of us in government and in local government and in the new chair of the CEO of the HSE is to allow each one of us to take up and step up a role in providing care for each other, and to be creative and do things differently. And it's not just about how much money you throw at things, it's how you make the best use of that money to deliver what we need. In the next 2 years, the biggest change, the thing that's going to matter most, not just in the next 2 years, but the next 2 and 3 decades, is what we do collectively as a country to tackle climate change, to improve our country as we do so, to rely on our own and to tap into our own energy resources, which protect us, give us greater security, as well as providing for a better environment. That we do change fundamentally Irish farming and forestry. So we diversify, we bring new income streams to encourage a whole new generation of people to come in to this most important task of our time, to protect, to restore nature, provide the food we need, and maintain and restore a beautiful country, which is what we have the great joy to live within. We have to change. The biggest political challenge It's going to be the very basic agreement at a local level, every council in this country, as to how we move around, how we avoid gridlock, and how we create a sense of community by what is going to be a complete pivot in our transport system. System change, as the OECD recommended in a report earlier this year. So we build up that sense of community. We make ours a country where it is socially just in having everyone having access to the transport systems that we need. And last but not least, in climate change, it is a new economy, a new circular economy. But we have to realise, and we do realise, that the economy serves society and not the other way around. That the wall of the economy, the roots of the word, is in managing your home. And as we all know, the home isn't just about the bricks and mortar. It's about having time to listen to the spirits in our heart. It's about how do you put an economic price on humour? Well, we in government are committed to that, and I want to commend my Green Party colleagues in particular. That protection of cultural institutions is as important as all the other infrastructure that needs to be put in place. The value of caring work, which the economics has never properly measured and priced, is central to what we need to do in providing this new economy. And we need the courage, or how do you value or price the courage in protecting the peace? And we all feel that this week. For Private Sean Rooney and his family, Trooper Shane Carney. How do you measure that price? It's priceless. But it's as important as, it's more important than everything else. It's what we stand for as a country and as a people. It's a path that carries real risks when you go out to uphold the peace. But that's as important as any measure of economic success. That's how we value ourselves as a country more than anything else. I mentioned the Taoiseach having done a good job. The band has been passed on. I was slightly nervous. I met Leo's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Radker. I was very pleased to meet them coming in, because I've been there in the past on what was described here euphemistically as, was it robust exchanges with the Taoiseach, please God, future Taoiseach. One thing that Richard Bruton said struck me. He said what you need characteristics for a leader is, was it character, Richard, courage and curiosity? I was thinking of 3 other C's. Well, you need a Taoiseach to be clever. You need a Taoiseach to be collegiate. And you need a Taoiseach to, that cleverness on its own doesn't work. It needs to be mixed with compassion. I believe, and I've seen Leo working closely with him in the last 2.5 years particularly, that he has all those characteristics in spades. And Taoiseach, outgoing Taoiseach, what you said is true. We have worked on the principles of trust. We have arguments. The attractive thing is you don't always win the argument, but also you don't always lose. It's the reasonableness of your argument, in my experience over the last 2 years. If you're going in with the actually winning case, you have a good chance of winning one of the other 2 and then carrying 3 over the line. So we will continue that. We come in for half-time, we take a break tomorrow, and we hit the ground again running tomorrow, for it's a time of real change in the world, an important time for our country. We'll make mistakes. We're not without our flaws, Lord knows. But this is a good functioning government. We stand by our constitution. We go with pride to our Sanuk Turan to seek our seals of office from the President. And for 2 more years, we're going to do everything we can to help and serve the Irish people. With Leo Varadkar as Taoiseach.
Thank you very much.